make a motion that we exit the executive session.
A motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And in our executive session, we had a discussion about properties, and we're having Clerk Dixon relay a message and see if it's in our price range.
Perfect.
All right, Al.
Johnson, Planning Director, Bannock County. I have with me, coming in from the hall, Tristan Vorquin, Assistant Director, and Elise Foster, Assistant Planner. Before we start, I would like to have just a brief conversation. We have been under the gun, of course, with changes that have taken place, and then with the economic downturn, all of a sudden everybody's screaming about get this done, get this done, get this done. Okay? Yep. If I become a little bit irritated as I express this to you, I apologize. So I have spent office time, these two women have spent about the last 10 days, amongst all of their other things, trying to get things prepared for today. Two of them are not prepared today. And we spent countless amounts of time pushing other people aside to accommodate these people, and they couldn't secure their signatures on two of them. And so I'm a little bit perturbed, and I'm going to express this. Please allow my staff to do what we need to. When developers call to complain to the commission, all I'm asking is there's process that's in place for a reason, and we have wasted time to try to accommodate these people. And I don't mean to be rude, but I'm tired of having my staff yelled at over the phone. I'm tired of being called incompetent. I'm tired of having people tell me that I'm trying to micromanage them, and on and on and on. And I'm expressing that to the commission so that you know what we've been dealing with for 10 days based upon the fact that the market is coming into a tight spot, and now everybody's screaming because money's going to get tight. But we have a process for a reason. One of them was anticipating to present you approximately a $500,000 bond. City of Chubbuck won't sign because they haven't even set their subgrade for the road. And they were expecting us to do something that's not substantially complete and accept something for $500,000 or $500,000 that potentially, if everything went south, us making that commitment and telling the commission, sign this bond, and then having it go south, maybe not even having a sufficient amount of money for the county to take care of that with the current market.
We're backing you 100%.
Okay.
We're not changing rules. We're not. It's not a buddy system. It's not anything like that. We're following the rules.
Okay.
And we're going to back you 100%.
We have expressed that. We have expressed that to developers and to surveyors, and there's been some accusations that have not been kind, and I'm mildly perturbed at this point. So, of the three that are on the calendar, we have one that's ready for a bond signature, and the other one that is ready for final plat signature.
Okay.
I will share with you that I can't express enough gratitude to the two women on each side of me today because of the things that they've put up with and the things that they've worked to do. So let me just share with you the inefficiencies of what have taken place. We expect that when someone asks us to place a final plat for signatures in front of the commission, that when it comes to us, it's done. And if there are odds and ends, meaning that it is substantially complete, but there are some things that perhaps the supply side is causing an issue or whatever it might be, then when they come to us with a bond, it is not $500,000. Okay? Those are things that we can understand that for all intents and purposes, the plat in and of itself can be accomplished, and it can be signed, and those things can be bonded and taken care of. But it's been a difficult spot.
Well, I'll just tell you that we depend on you and your expertise, all of you, to protect the county. That's what we do here. And this, if we shortcut something, there's long-term effects
Correct.
for generations that we can't ever correct. And I would rather have it right the first time.
All of us,
Braden shared with me a little bit last night of some of what you've been going through, and I also want to back up Commissioner Moser that thank you, and we stand behind you and your processes 100%, so.
all of us know in this room that when you start a task and then you have to be interrupted, that you sometimes have to go back and repeat the start of the task. You're playing catch-up and you're reinventing so that you don't miss crossing a T or dotting an I or whatever it might be. And that's what's happened the last 10 days. So there really hasn't been any efficiency. There's partial paperwork, so it'll get reviewed and then comments will be sent back. And then another piece of information comes in, and then this, and then that. And there's no efficiencies in our office unless someone comes to us and say, this is what we have, we're prepared to show this, this, and this, and oh, by the way, these things are not done. Here is our itemized list for a bond, here's the amount, please review. It takes us 24 hours to respond to that, okay? It's efficient, but I'm sharing with you my frustrations about the fact that the push was for today, and we kept telling them we can't do that until we see this complete. And guess what? It's not complete.
If you three don't approve of it, I'm not signing it.
And we keep telling everybody that. And then we're accused of being micromanagers and get yelled at over the phone and et cetera.
And I've had enough hang that phone up. Honestly, you don't have to be abused.
That is correct.
Thank you. I needed to express that in a public forum, so that you know.
We want everyone that is viewing this at this time to know that we have your back.
We have a bond that needs to be signed for,
Mountain View Estates.
and that bond is for a mailbox.
Okay.
And the mailbox is not available until,
They have put that they will have work complete by the end of December. They're installing 4 mailboxes.
oh, and by the way, what is your name?
Elise Foster, Assistant Planner.
Okay? And everything's covered in this?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the bond for, what was it again?
Mountain View.
Mountain View Estates and their mailboxes.
And what's the amount?
17,600.
17, in the amount of 17,600.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay?
There's a document to sign.
Okay, so that said, Mike Jaglowski, previous county engineer, had been given signatory rights as well as rights to enter into bond agreements up to X amount of dollars, okay? We just want to make aware that that is no longer in place, and so everything that we will be bringing will be because we need those signatures, and there's no longer that ability to sign. Nor am I requesting for that opportunity.
No problem.
I will turn the time to Elise as well, so that she can go down this signatures for final plat.
Portneuf Meadows has presented that they are ready to have their final plat signed. They do not need to bond. The work has been completed and reviewed by Road and Bridge. This one does have the open space that was before the April 21st deadline. Other than that, we don't find any items within the ordinance that does not conform.
This is the income pro.
This is the one right outside of Econ, correct?
So, and this is just my question, and I've asked it before. Sold lots. I didn't think they could sell until we signed the final plat.
They can't.
They can promise lots, is my
They
understanding.
cannot exchange money.
Okay. Because, I mean, I drive by that twice a day. and there's sold signs all over it. That was my understanding, yes.
Yeah.
But they've fulfilled their obligation to the county at this time.
That is correct.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the final of Meadows as presented.
Have a motion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Well, Commissioner Moser signs that. Mr. Dixon, do you know, we don't have any enumerated powers relative to that particular aspect. I mean,
No.
there's nothing that we have that's enforceable.
Yeah, it is, it's right here. All I do is don't sign this. It's pretty enforceable.
That's just punishment.
You don't follow the rules, you don't follow the rules.
No. I don't know of any.
I sit here in this seat corrected. Do we have the magic pen? Oh, Commissioner Moser's got it. Okay.
It's in my desk. Okay.
We need to film the date.
No, I never feel it today.
Okay, I'll film
You're
it.
still in the day.
I'll film the date. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work.
Oh, the sheet's signed?
Good?
I believe so.
So anyway, that said, as a developer, the risk-reward game is about as good as going to Vegas, depending on what happens to the economy. And I understand where they are, where those developers are at right now with what's going on in our economy and the changes relative to interest rates, et cetera. But I want to let you know that there are no favors and there are no, the policy and the procedure and the rules and regulations will be followed in our office. Okay?
That's all I ask of you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all your time. Shanda?
Good morning, Commissioners. Shanda Crystal, Purchasing and Economic Analyst, and I've asked for
Dan Kendall, Project Manager.
to join me with item number 1, a recommendation to award the office cleaning service, the rebid. As you'll recall, we first went out to bid at the end of July for office cleaning services, and we did receive 1 bid back in on that. It was well over the approved budgeted amount moving forward into fiscal year '23. So as we look and review that, we reevaluated the scope, revised the scope, and rebid that back out. That rebid was published on September the 8th, and we closed that on the 14th of September and received 2 bids back in. So that was a great improvement from our original. Those bids have now been evaluated, those 2 proposals, and the supplier with the highest number of normalized points is Night Owl Janitorial. And we would like to recommend to the board that we award that contract for office cleaning service with the revised scope to Night Owl Janitorial to begin October 1st.
What was the final bid amount?
Final bid amount on that is going to be $79,500. And that contract will come before the board. If approved today, we will notify the company that they have been awarded, so they can start mobilizing individuals, as we have just a single week in between. That contract, though, will come before the board at your very next meeting, but that will be the 30th of September when you'll see that final contract with them. But everything else should be scheduled and ready to roll on Monday morning.
I think the other one just got notified.
Oh, was that new plan?
I don't know, she walked out right
Yeah,
after.
as soon as you said that, she was, so,
Okay.
Well, I'm just assuming.
yeah.
I'm uncertain.
Anyway,
Spencer came to the first one. I didn't know who, but both of them will be awarded once the commission makes an official decision.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we accept procurement's recommendation and award Night Owl Janitorial the custodial contract for the year.
we have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I do have letters stating such. And do you want to hang for the vehicle? The next item I have before the board is the sheriff's surplus vehicles with the department requests. You might recall that the commission wanted the sheriff's office to go out, right, figure out which ones that were surplus, no longer needed, and then to have Bannock come in and tell us, give us an estimate of about how much we could expect to get at auction. While Bannock did that, we also went out to all departments and said, right, are you right sized? Do you need a different type of vehicle? Do you need less vehicles? Do you need additional? We did receive 3 requests back in for additional vehicles and wants to discuss the findings of all the information that we want to present before the board. The list that the board has in their packet today is a list of 12 vehicles that the sheriff is ready to surplus. We also sent it to the shop supervisor, Josh Moss, for review to say, right, if there's something we already knew that we had troubles with, we don't want to simply pass that on to a different department to have trouble with, we want to get rid of it. So as Josh went through and evaluated, he did identify 4 only of the 12 that he would recommend keeping, which does lead well into the sheriff's request. He would like to purchase a narcotics vehicle if we get enough funds from auction. But that would have to be worked out, right, as we receive funds back in. But that's what we're hoping to accomplish with all of this. The 4 that are identified that the Road and Bridge would recommend keeping is the second vehicle, 2017 Dodge Durango. Number 6, a 2016 Dodge Durango. Number 9, a 2001 Dodge truck. And number 11, the 2007 Chevy van. So of those, they do fit well with the requests. Maintenance has a request for the Chevy van to be able to transport materials and cleaning supplies throughout the county as they shift and change things in October. And I still haven't heard back. I was hoping the coroner was going to stick around, but he must have got called out. He has requested another truck for his services. I am uncertain if that bed is going to be big enough, but he did want a truck. And then the event center has asked for a run-around town vehicle to come back and forth, so it's not always the truck that has to go different places, potentially to trainings and whatnot. And either one of those, that 2017 has slight less mileage, so that might be a better choice, but I think either one of those might fit Scott's needs. If you can.
Okay. So Durango is what you'd like. You got rid of one of your trucks.
Yeah.
Would this truck be, I don't know if it's 4-wheel drive or not?
It is. I actually don't know. It is.
Well, do you know if that truck's 4-wheel drive?
Depends on which truck you're talking about.
A Durango?
That's all we tell you which cars.
I'm talking about the Dodge truck too. What I was thinking about was your snowplow.
Yeah.
Just putting it on another vehicle.
We have two trucks that we use. Both of them are
Yeah,
old
that's
and pretty tore up. But we also have, just have like kind of a running vehicle. And as we moving to concerts, we're gonna be doing a lot more running around. We'll probably have to still rent a vehicle, but if we had something that was kind of not too crazy, it would just be nice to have something that we just run around.
And I was actually looking at both of them for you. Honestly,
I wouldn't say no to both of them.
well, I know that we got rid of the other truck that had the plow on it before, and that's still gonna be a need to have a plow.
Well, and then I have several vehicles. I think I have an 86. I have a couple of vehicles from the mid-80s that I just need to.
That they need to
get
be
rid of, but we currently use them just during the snow season, so.
And that's where I think and I don't know the coroner's needs specifically. I know that they already have 2 vehicles, and there's only 2 in the office, so I don't see as big a need there as possibly you having 2 vehicles.
Yeah.
I agree with the maintenance having the van, especially as we're taking over different responsibilities, stuff that stays in there and is covered, that to me is very important. And then the other Durango, I don't.
And then do we own all these vehicles outright, or do some of them have leases on them? These are all just stuff that we own? Okay.
I would like to, the coroner did mention that they had a part-time individual approved for fiscal year '23. Is that, that was the requested need of the additional vehicle, was that part-time individual that was approved?
No. That's all I'm saying, no.
But those are the requests as they've been turned into the commissioner's office for review. And then that request to then use the funds for a narcotic vehicle, if there was enough, depending on, right, there's a nice range in there. So the market is still really high. So I would anticipate, right, Bancorp getting even to the high side on most of
Or
those.
wanting a minivan, like a mom, so it doesn't stand out.
If you guys want like an undercover 86 truck, I can hook you up.
White yellow.
So I'd say the 2 would go here, the one there,
Then sell the rest and
sell the rest.
buy your drug vehicle.
Come before us and talk about the drug vehicle.
Yeah, for sure.
I just had a question from this morning. We had a line item in our purchases that was buy money for you
Yes.
guys. What's that
Yeah.
about?
That's our, when we do controlled buys, we've been doing quite a few controlled buys, and I think we were down to about 3,000, and we try to keep it about 5.
Okay.
But that, and those, we audit that every single time that we're going to request that. We haven't requested it in quite a while, because we weren't really up and running.
Yeah, we hadn't seen it.
We weren't up and running.
Buy money is what the title was.
Yeah, it comes out of the seizure account.
Right, I saw that. That's why I wasn't quite sure, and nobody here could remember either what that was for.
And we haven't done a lot of buys, and once we got our narcotics division up and running again, and so that's kind of where we're at now. So that was what that request was.
Good, thank you. We're just looking for some clarification.
Oh, absolutely.
So basically,
Yeah.
So just to confirm on the vehicles, right, the Durango and the truck are going to the event center, the van is going to maintenance, everything else will be turned over to Bancorp to auction off the best they can. And then once we receive those funds back in, then we'll have additional discussion about moving forward with the purchase of the vehicle.
Yep.
Perfect. That sounds great. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, sure.
Thank you. Hopefully we don't take the vehicles that we're supposed to
The wrong ones.
give. So if we get a list of that, we'll make sure they get set aside.
Yep, work with Shanda.
Okay, Okay.
get it all organized and take care of.
But no touch zone.
No touching.
So the last item I have before the board today is I just wanted to report back on the trial of the eSIM cards. We did get approval to try out on a small department. We have had 2 successful transfers into the eSIM world. So I did want, it's Scott Crowther and Jeff Huff are the 2 that we've tested out on. So I wanted them to report their experiences back to the board and then talk about moving forward.
Scott?
So, it wasn't super smooth, getting it transferred over. Because it's a government account, linking government and a private account is very difficult. As a matter of fact, I couldn't find anybody through Verizon that would even really help us with it. So I ended up porting the number over from the government account to my personal account, and then I just run both numbers on my personal account. And that works awesome. So I haven't had any issues with, I'm able to communicate off of either number, whether it's private or business. It's really, really seamless for me. And I only carry one phone.
So you went to a stipend now
Yeah.
off of that rather than,
So that is another discussion we need to talk about is transferring the 2 over to stipends.
Yeah, and we haven't done a stipend at this point. I just wanted to see what the cost was, so.
Yeah, and my experience was pretty similar, although my transition, and I went with T-Mobile, and it was pretty fast and easy just to port it over. That was very simple, and I, like Scott, it's very seamless. It pops up, this is on your business line, this is on your personal line. When you text, it gives you the option which one you want to go from. It's fantastic, just having one phone. And again, I haven't done the stipend either, just looking at what the total cost is and all that. I think T-Mobile's cost for the extra line was $45 is what it showed on my bill.
And I didn't know what Verizon was.
So the way the Verizon bill comes out is it comes out like as a base plan bill, which is for me is like $150 a month, and then you can have as many phones as you want on there, and then $20 a month additional for that additional line. And so it's, I think, I don't know what the stipend is, like $40 a month or something like that. The stipend will cover, I feel like the stipend will cover it.
Yeah, and I'd be happy with the 40, because it's worth it to not have to carry 2 phones.
Yeah.
So we have tested out 2 different carriers. Scott is with Verizon, Commissioner Huff is with T-Mobile, and both of them worked. Scott was unfortunately the first guinea pig, which we had some tough learning curves through there, but then we worked out most of them as Commissioner Huff rolled over. It was much more simple. The one thing, though, I wanted to confirm, these 2 are iPhones?
That's correct.
Okay, so we have not tested out what an Android, how it would look, what it would do on that end of things.
Probably won't work.
One thing that I have noticed, and the guys told me this at T-Mobile's, I have to go in and kind of reset my phone once a week for whatever reason. Having the 2 SIM cards, sometimes it bogs things down. But I reset the phone, turn it on and off, and it's back to normal. So that's the only thing that I've noticed that's been any kind of a funky thing.
Okay. So going forward, there's a couple different things we do need to clarify. One is that cell phone stipend, and wondering what the board would like to do moving forward. We do owe both of these 2 gentlemen for September. So keeping that in fiscal year 22, how that would look moving forward, and then how we need to adjust fiscal year 23's budget.
so we probably didn't budget that way, but we budgeted, could we move monies, and Christie isn't here right now, but could we move monies that we budgeted because we were paying for their line?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
The money's there somehow, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, I know on my line I have a total for cell phones that we, this is going to be a chunk cheaper, I think. I mean, quite a bit cheaper than it was before, but.
It'll be fine.
I have no problem paying stipends.
But I'll get with Christie though, and just make sure that we've got it in place.
See how we're gonna do it, and let's arrange it. I mean, the money should have been there some way or
It is
another.
there, yeah.
Just in different lines maybe, but.
I'll follow up and make sure that we get the money moved and the stipends paid, and I'll contact Christie to get that rolling forward. perfect. And then...
She's out for a couple days.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, can I follow up with Kedron too, just to make sure that we can hit that last paycheck that will bounce back? Okay, so I'll just confirm with Kedron that that's gonna work for 22, and then move forward. Okay.
And honestly, I'd like this on our agenda next Friday.
Okay.
Terrell should be here, especially where,
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
to make it all good.
I was struggling with saying anything today just because I'm involved in the test.
Yeah, so I'd like it, be on our agenda for a week from Friday when Terrell's here.
Okay, I'll get that added for sure. And then moving forward, I would like to recommend a slight pause, and I would like to have a deeper conversation with the board about the cell phone policy as a whole, right? Which departments are purchasing cell phones for their departments, which departments are having stipends for their departments, and then potentially, right, moving forward and offering countywide, if you have two phones, right, if you can do the SIM card. But I would like a deeper conversation involved, finance, get HR involved, go to the departments themselves. How and why is this working for you? What's a struggle, what's not? Bring all that information back before the board.
When we do and when we don't. I mean, there's a policy should be out there.
Right? Before we start, just continue to move forward, have that policy set, and then as departments want to move forward or change, there'll be that guidance of how we do that and what to look for, if that's okay. Okay, perfect. So that will be at least a couple weeks by the time I can get with all of those parties and get that information back to you. But for the meantime, though, I will get it on for next Friday for sure. Contact Christy and Kedron about moving those funds and payments. Excellent. That is all my items for today. Thank you.
And then Abby pulled off, didn't she? She did. Okay. Make sure we're there. Elections.
Okay, so I think you have a contract for the on-demand ballots. We just need to get that signed. The bid, the actual purchase is going to be a few $1,000s cheaper than what we anticipated, so that's good. And we just need this contract signed so that we can get those delivered. We don't even need to make payment until they are delivered, but we want them here on October 1st.
So we will be able to use.
So we'll be able to use them for early walk-in voting. And that's a necessity because we didn't order very many early ballots banking on this system, so.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contract as presented for the election systems.
A motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes.
Put it on overnight delivery.
Yep, he was here yesterday and doing the training, and we were talking about it. He's like, yep, they're ready. We'll have them here. It's not going to be a big deal, just need the contract, so.
And the other item that we have is the amended signatures for memorandum of agreement between Minidoka County, State of Idaho, and juvenile detention. And our legal team has looked over them. It says here on the sticky note, so that we're all good.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the signature on the mini CASHA juvenile detention agreement as presented.
There's 3 copies up here. We have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I had a big manila envelope on my desk. These were in it. And with that being said, we'll be at